if you don't mind, Katie. For those of you who are participants, if you wouldn't mind all muting while we're doing the presentation, and we will have a Q&A at the end, and I will be happy if you want to also type questions into the chat. We can have those queued up for the Q&A. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, everyone. You think I would be used to Zoom by now, doing it for 16 months, but
no.
every day it's
we're all operating on limited bandwidth.
All right. So the main focus of SEED is to nurture the small businesses and to help them expand. So SEED started in 2011 over in the East End, and throughout the years it has grown. Grants totaling $639,500 have been awarded to the 38 businesses in the city's East End. Bon Secours has contributed $569,500 towards the small business grants, and since 2016, Capital One has joined the mission to support the communities in partnership with Bon Secours. As you can see, it continues to grow, and Becca's going to hop on into the program descriptions.
Hi, everyone. So what we're going to talk about over the next few slides are the program description and the process, and we're going to teach you about the SEED program overall. So let me go over the very basics first. To begin with, this is a grant program. It is not a loan program. So there are no fees, no origination fees, anything like that. There is not interest, and we do not expect you to pay the money back. We program grantees receive grants anywhere from $5,000 to $25,000. And the grant size is very much determined by the business plan that you develop in the grant process in conjunction and with the support of our business coaches. So speaking of business coaches, this program is very much supported by business coaching. And the reason is we know that money is finite, and we know that the skills that business owners develop with the help of business coaches and experienced business owners can last forever, and you can be leaders in the community having these skills. So there is business coaching at every point in the process. I'll get into it in just a moment, but once you pass the eligibility process and you're in the actual program part, you will be building out a business plan, and you'll be getting coaching through that. You'll be getting coaching as you get ready to participate in the presentation of your business plan. And then if you receive grant funding, you'll receive coaching on how to make sure you deploy those funds in allowable ways. We want to set you up for success. I'm ready for the next slide, Katie. Okay, I referenced this a little bit, but I want to go into this in just a little bit more detail. So here is the process. We're going to start, and I'll share the timeline later, but let's just go over the basics. We're going to start with an expression of interest form. This is an online form that you go to a portal to fill out. Essentially, this is our application, and we'll go over the details of eligibility in a moment, but you'll fill out details of who you are, who your business is, where you're located, and a few other details, and you'll provide the required documentation for the program. Throughout that expression of interest form, you sort of can self-select out if you realize that you're not eligible. For example, if it says, are you located on Hull Street or an adjacent or an adjacent block, for example, between these points, and what is your address? And you realize you're outside of that space. You'll think and you'll know, okay, this is not for me. So that's hopefully going to be helpful to you, but we will be reviewing the results and making sure that everyone who participates in the program is meeting eligibility requirements on the front end so that we don't waste your time on the back end by telling you you're not eligible. Moving on, there's the business plan development. So if you make it past the EOI point and we determine you're eligible, you're part of the program, like the real program application process. And this is a process that whether or not you get grant money from, you will benefit from, because you will be filling out and actively thinking about a business plan with our business coaches. This business plan development happens in one-on-one 30-minute, you'll have a couple of 30-minute sessions individually with the business coach to fill out a business plan template. And this template is the same for everyone. We want to emphasize transparency across the board in this process. And we want to be as equitable as we can in how we review. So you'll work on your business plan with the coach. You'll get it all filled out. You'll review it with the coach again to make sure that everything looks good. And you're going to answer questions about who are you as a business? What is the problem that's worth solving, and what is your solution? Who's your target market? Who are your competitors? Things like revenue and expenses. And just by going through this process, you're going to learn a lot about your business, and it's going to make you think about the way that you're running your business. And just in this process, you might decide to do things a little differently. So the last part of the program application process is the panel presentation. You'll have your business plan and you'll present it to a panel. The panel is going to be made up of individuals from our funding groups. Those are Bon Secours and Capital One, as well as 3 local business leaders. So community leaders that are independent from the funders and from the program administrators. Everybody will be presenting from the same template. It'll be a quick presentation, 5 minutes, and then you'll do a 5-minute Q&A with the panel. And then from that, the panelists will review the application, score them in a way that's consistent across the board, and then we will announce grant funding. The grantees will be invited to a celebratory event with the funders and with community stakeholders. Fingers crossed that we can do it in person, although no one will be required to if they don't feel safe. And then we will be beginning dispersing the funds. And disbursement includes, it happens in 2 ways. You could either be reimbursed once you provide an invoice for an allowable expense, or if we have an allowable expense invoice and we can pay the vendor directly, we can do that too. That's all I have for this slide, Katie. I'm going to pass it on to Nancy now, who's going to go over allowable expenses.
Great. Thanks, Becca. Thanks, Katie. Oh, good morning, everybody. I guess it's afternoon now, but we're really excited to have all of you. A special thank you to Bon Secours and Sean for opening up the SEED program to Hull Street. We're very excited in this new corridor. So, you know, the whole idea of SEED in this process is to be fair and transparent, as you know, Becca was mentioning, through what the stages look like. This is just to give you an idea what the funds can be used for. You know, any kind of exterior rehabilitation, that could be a new sign for the front of your building, you know, or anything that you think will promote and enhance the look of your building or your business. You can see where that includes painting, signage, doors, windows, awnings, some landscaping, and also some interior rehabilitation. A lot of folks need, you know, tables and chairs, or this year we found, you know, folks were trying to expand their capacity and bring it outside and maybe do some tents, tables, you know, heaters, security improvements. You know, a lot of thought will go into this as you're sitting with your business coach to determine, you know, what are your priorities? And as Becca said, you know, what problems are you trying to solve for your business? Marketing, exterior signage, as I mentioned, website, printed materials. Sometimes you might need promotional items to promote your business. And the reason we have % of funds will be allocated towards marketing, and that's highlighted in our research over the years. What we have found is that we found it was very important for the SEED funds to also contribute to the marketing to enhance and promote your business. So many times, a lot of the funds were being used for very, very good things like equipment, which is expensive. But then we realized what was happening is it's one thing to build out your business on the interior, but what is that external message and how can we draw more, more customers to your business, whether it's digital or, by just walking into your store. So we feel that when your grant is awarded to you, the business coach and you will decide what is a reasonable percent to allocate towards marketing. All right, take the next slide, thank you. And then we also have to make sure that we're fair and transparent around what the funds cannot be used for. The funds cannot be used for ongoing business expenses. As you all know, you have your P&L sheets and you know exactly what you spend on certain things, like whether it's rent, utilities, salaries. So those are ongoing business expenses that will not be covered with this grant money. The whole purpose of SEED is by its name, is to really grow and advance your business. Any kind of pre-established social web or digital agreements, inventory, and operation, as I mentioned, operational expenses. Now that doesn't mean if you don't have an existing social platform or strategy that we would work again with your business coach to develop that. If it's brand new to your business, that would be an allowable expense. All right.
Great. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get into some more eligibility requirements. And if anyone has any comments or questions or concerns and you just don't want to address it on this call, feel free to contact me afterwards. We're happy to have a one-on-one. But we just really wanted to be 100% transparent with all of the eligibility requirements. So we are going to briefly go through them. As you can see here, you do have to have a physical storefront location on Whole Street. This is something that we find very important for the development of the program because we want to uplift that area. So this program is not offered to any e-commerce stores or businesses. It's strictly storefront. You do have to have a legal business entity established with the State Corporation Commission for LLCs, partnerships, or corporations. A fictitious name certificate if operating as a sole proprietorship. You need to have a business license as required by the City of Richmond, so most of you should already have it. Federal tax identification number, a business checking account, and documentation to support new business expenses to be covered by the award. All right, a couple other requirements, personal credit history. There are a couple of bullet points here as well that kind of goes into more detail. Background check, and you need to provide a written business plan or an outline for the plan, which Becca mentioned previously in part of the, overall application process. And a couple more additional requirements. You must be a United States citizen or have permanent resident status. Participation in pre and post award coaching and mentoring. So not only do we want to award our applicants with the grants to help improve their businesses, we really find value in the coaching that goes along with this program. So definitely encourage all of the participation possible. We understand everyone's schedule is not always going to be allowing of it. So we understand that, but as much as you can participate, we definitely encourage. If you are a franchise, you must be on the SBA approved franchise registry. And there are certain types of businesses that are not eligible, and they are listed below. And there are a couple additional ones as well. So if you have any questions in regards to that, let us know. All right, and Becca's going to take you guys over the timeline.
And believe it or not, this is really the last section, just these last few slides, and then we'll go into Q&A. So we're doing great on time, and you might even get some time back at the end. This is our general timeline. We have not published specific dates yet. We're still working those out, but we want to give you a general idea of what to expect so that you, as you decide to make this commitment or not in the application process, you know what you may or may not be doing in your life at this point if you're going to have the time to put into this process. We're going to begin in June. This is when the expression of interest form is due. This is that online form. You'll be submitting your documentation. The EOI results will be announced, meaning Those applicants that are eligible will be invited to the official application program or process, if you will. And those that aren't eligible, we'll make sure that we communicate that to you and that you have an opportunity to talk to us about it. We'll have a program kickoff meeting where we'll share expectations, answer questions, and make sure that you have clarity on the process. July and August is when we really get into the meat and potatoes here. This is when, or for those of you who have plant-based diets, I would say this is where we get into the protein of the, right? Yeah, of the program. Coaching begins for business proposals. So if we know that the panel is coming up, let's say potentially in October, maybe even in September, as we finalize this program, we're going to be focusing for 2 months on getting your business proposals ready. And we want to give you that 2-month period, because we know that even though our template might be a 1 to 2 page document, it's going to require thought. And we very much know that as business owners, your time is very precious and limited. So we want to make sure that you have time to schedule out your business coaching sessions. And I also want to emphasize with the business coaching sessions that your coach is not going to be driving an agenda at you. Yes, we will have a template. However, you're going to realize as you fill out the template business application what you need for the grant money, what you're going to use that for, but also what you need as a business owner. Where are the spots in operating your business that make you feel a little bit wobbly versus where you feel your strength? And so you can communicate that to the business coach, and your business coach can really help you focus on that area. So I just want you to know that you might be fantastic business owners, and I don't doubt that of any of you. So I don't want you to think that we're pushing a business coach on you that's going to be a real PITA. We want this business coach to be driven by your needs. Anyway, we will help you get ready for your presentation to the panel. So then in either late September, early October, the applicants will present to the panel over Zoom. Let's go to the next slide, Katie. And the following month, we will announce grantees. So you will find out. And then January through March is when the business grants will be when the grant funds will be dispersed. And like I mentioned, it'll be either reimbursable based, or if you don't have the cash flow up front, we can pay the vendors with an invoice from you. So that's a 3-month process. And again, you will get guidance from your business coach on any questions you have, or determining a timeline on the order of the purchases as needed.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and open it up to Q&A. Really quick before we start the questions, I just want to remind everyone that we will be sending a follow-up email to this presentation, and we will include the presentation in that email for you all to reflect on your own time. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and just open it up for questions. I also want to go ahead and shout out Letitia, who just joined us during the presentation. How are you? Welcome. Thank you for coming. I know she heard me. But yeah, so does anyone have any questions? Yes, Ms. Walker.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Hi, and hi, Becca and Nancy. Sorry I missed you guys in the beginning.
Hi, Kathy.
Yeah, good to see you guys. So after the funds are dispersed January, March 2022, is the business coach, does it stop, or is that coach still available thereafter?
That's a really good question. So I will say that we are heavier weighted on the coaching in the business plan development phase. The coaching that's part of the seed program is really helping you determine how to disperse the funds and in what order, and also how to get reimbursed. However, I do want to say that at LISC, we administer a number of grant programs. with sponsors, with Capital One and others, and with localities. And we're working really hard to try and build what we call a capital ladder for different types of funding and different types of business coaching to meet you wherever you are. So this program may end and you might realize this particular goal. And then we might say, or you might say, well, I'm ready for this now. And hopefully we can work with our funders and with you all to figure out what's the next step. Do you need more business coaching? Are you ready for a low interest loan? Are you ready for whatever is next on the capital ladder? Because if we want you to grow and thrive, and if you're ready, then let's go for it. And we want to help you there. So to answer your question, yes, the business coaching does end in this program there, but that doesn't mean we can't connect you to either programs or coaching in other ways.
Great question. Anyone else?
So these grants are going to be dispersed only as either reimbursements for expenses paid within the accepted aspects of the business, or directly to vendors for an expense that's upcoming.
It's going to be an expense that has been made, yeah. So we'll have to see an actual invoice, and if you get a receipt from a business, they can either rework it as an invoice, or maybe that counts as an invoice based on our definition. But yes, and hopefully it'll be a smooth process, because in your business development plan that you work on with your coach, you're gonna bullet point exactly what you're gonna spend the money on. So it really should be a smooth transition into spending the money.
Yeah, I'm just going to add to that. That's a really good question, Ross. We try and make this, again, as transparent, as easy on you, but all the work is done ahead of time when you're meeting with your business coach, because at that point you will prioritize what expenses you need. You may not get the entire funds that you request, but then at least you can go back to your business plan and say, okay, these are my top 3, or maybe that might have switched. And then that way we always have something to go back to make sure that we're helping you solve those problems, or subsidize some of those expenses that maybe you couldn't do before the grant money.
Mm-hmm.
And the process is very easy. We administer the grant. What we ask is that you either have an invoice that you've already paid for, or we have an agreement that you will be purchasing, say, a piece of equipment that we're going to go ahead and pay the vendor directly. We just need, that purchase order to do so. And then the funds are distributed within 7 to 10 business days, which is pretty quick.
Thank you, Nancy and Becca. Are there any more questions? Derek?
What if, go ahead.
Sorry.
Sorry. So I understand we create this plan with coaches and then we present it, and then it's decided at the end who is going to receive a grant. Is this kind of not to say competitive situation, but is it the kind of thing where not everyone's going to get a grant depending on this, or is it something that if everyone has a stellar plan, everyone will be awarded grants?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, not everyone does get grants. So it really depends upon, how compelling your story is and how you're presenting to the panel. Again, it's a fair and transparent, it's a weighted scale so that, our panel are all, doing their weighted scale through the same process. And then there's lots of discussion afterwards. And so yes, there could be a possibility that people will not receive grant money.
Ross, were you going to ask something?
Yeah, just hypothetically, I see you have eligible and ineligible. One of them was eligible, but it was web and was eligible, and the other one was ineligible and it was web. And I guess because it was a pre-existing thing. Now, suppose you have a really crappy web thing, and now this is a new thing, and this would pay for the new thing that's a web thing, but it's eligible. Is it eligible because it's new, or is you're not eligible because you have a crappy old one?
I love it when people pay attention to details, Ross. So that's a really good question, and you will get into more of that with your business coach, and that's what they're there for, right? They're there to pull up your marketing strategy and say, oh, you know what, this probably needs a little facelift. So where is that in the line of your priorities in solving your business problems? Where is that? And if it's a facelift and it's, a redevelopment, then that would absolutely be eligible. It's things like if you already have a solid, digital social platform going on, we're not going to pay for that ongoing, okay?
Right.
Because you've already got that problem solved. But if it really is a tired website, or it's not updated, or you need additional photography, things like that, absolutely. Just keep in mind that this is a coordinated, collaborative effort with you and the business coach. Look, you all know your business. We're never going to claim to know your business any better than you are. And that's why these coaching sessions are so critical and important.
Question I would have is the coaches that are given to us, they have or may not have experience in our specific fields. Like I speak probably for me and Derek, we're more of a fitness or health and wellness. Are there coaches that have that specific knowledge?
Another good question. Our coaches are going to be really high level business coaches. And in my experience, because I've sat in your chair as a business owner as well, you have experts. And if we feel like we need to find an expert to come in and help the primary coach, we will do so, Robbie. But this is a high level, let's look at your business and make sure that we're hitting all the highlights that are going to help advance you. Again, your business better than we do. So, it could be, well, I need a special photographer to highlight, certain things. We're going to help you, and we're going to work with you to make sure that we're helping to solve your problem. So, if we need to bring in an expert, we will find an expert to help, but you will have your primary coach. And, we find this a lot in the food industry because we have a lot of our seed past recipients are in the food industry, and we have certain coaches that is their expertise.
Okay.
I want to just add to what Nancy said. The coaches that we're working with are experienced business owners and business leaders and experienced business coaches. And through that, they have very strong and well-respected networks of folks that they can bring in to supplement their work. And depending on the nature of the type of specialist that needs to be brought in, potentially maybe that's what part of the grant is used for, to say, I want to pay for a very specific kind of training, or I don't even know, because I don't know the fitness business, but let's say that there is something that would teach you and somebody that
Right.
could come and teach you and your staff something that would change the way that you could serve your community. That's the type of specialist that could be hired potentially with the grant money to transform your business, if that is the solution to what you're trying to solve. So what we're paying for that's not coming out of the grant money is that general business coach that's really good at helping streamline your business and helping you figure out how to solve your problems or your tough spots.
Hey, Robbie, let me give you a specific example that we just because this is dead on. So we had a seed business in the East End that ran her own automotive shop, she needed a diagnostic piece of equipment in order to advance her business. And it was super exciting to help her achieve that. With that, we also supplied training. And so the diagnostic company that she chose to use for the equipment also could or could not, depending upon your needs, provide training. So that was the expert, right? The equipment purchase. But with the equipment, she also got the training. I hope that's helpful.
Right. I think you nailed it, like you said, head on. And again, just following up on what Derek asked, we're getting a better understanding of how this is presented to us. And again, once you send the email, we'll have more questions, I know. But we want to make sure that we're able to present our business plan, and you guys will be able to see the urgency or the need for our specifics to, continue to help our business move forward. So that was a good example, and I guess you said it in a different way, yeah. But yeah, I think you nailed it with that.
Thanks for asking all these questions. I think they're always helpful when we're in a group.
All right, is there anything else?
Like I said, make one observation. It's really, really encouraging and just inspiring, especially after the past year plus, to see your faces on the screen, because even though we're all apart, y'all are part of a business community. Y'all operate businesses in a very tiny little corridor in the city of Richmond that has been underserved, and you're part of recatalyzing the momentum that has been there, and just energizing the assets that are already there. And you are leaders in your community, and here you are all together as a group, and it's just really cool to see. So I want to say thank you.
Right, and I truly appreciate that. I think she kind of summed up my whole feeling.
Yeah, thank you, Becca. I was just going to say, I'm going to send the presentation we went over. And if you guys have any questions afterwards, please reach out. We will constantly be in touch and keep this ball rolling according to the timeline Becca presented to you all. But please don't hesitate to reach out with any more questions once this meeting's over. So I'm going to give everyone some time back to their day unless there's anything else we need to address. Anyone? No? Perfect. Well, thank you all so much for taking your time to come. I will get that follow-up out to you all shortly, and don't hesitate to reach out, email or phone call. We are here to help. I look forward to connecting with you guys again, and this is going to be great. Thank you all.
Katie,
Thank you, Katie. Nice seeing you, Derek.
Bye.
Katie, I have a quick question before we leave.
Of course.
Is it possible, because I am new to the corridor, like I said, it hasn't been quite a year, but can we get a poll, maybe not on this call, but if it's okay to actually send out the addresses of the businesses that's on that corridor? Because I'd like to just stop in and see everybody. I mean, I didn't even know half the people was on that street. I mean, I'm on the far end, but I would like to, at least try to patron some of the businesses if I know the names and the addresses of the businesses on that corridor. It's kind of hard to get to other businesses when you're running your own and you're always in your own spot, but it'll help out, I think, just to know and have the addresses if everybody is willing. I mean, you can share mine if you like. I don't care about that.
Yeah, I'm happy to include that in my follow-up email and just get everyone's okay to go ahead, and we will be having other meetings with everyone together. So there is going to be more opportunities for everyone to talk and get to know each other.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Good.
Thank
you.
Good to see you, Ryan.
All right, Mr. Brown, how you been?
All right. Bye, everyone.
Okay. Bye,
Thank you,
Katie.
guys.
All right.
Bye.
Okay.
I do just want to say, Diana, with the recording, how do I save it? I just don't want to mess it up.
It may have asked you at the beginning if it was a cloud or a computer one. Did it ask you that?
Yes, I saved to the computer.
Okay, so just you can hit stop and it'll start downloading to your computer and it'll actually go right to your downloads.
Okay. Do you guys want me to do that, then reopen this meeting?
Yeah, sounds great.
All right.